Joining us now is Blaise Misztal, the director of the National Security Program at the Bipartisan Policy Center. Blaise, the gunman in Turkey made a comment about Aleppo, about Syria, and saying especially don't forget Aleppo. Can you explain the connection between Russia, Syria, Turkey?
Sure. Well, it's a complicated one that goes back many, many years, but you've seen Turkey emerge as one of the main critics of what's been going on in Syria, and now it's moving closer back again to Syria and Russia. And what you've seen is a protest by many Turks who are Sunnis, who feel that the plight of Sunnis in Syria, who in Aleppo have been being bombarded ruthlessly by Syrian, Iranian, and Russian forces, and are rebelling both against the Turkish government for condoning Russian action, and also against Russia for perpetrating what they see as a massive crime against humanity.
Is there a connection then to the violence in Syria and now what we've seen in Turkey and the Berlin attack that we just saw?
I think only insofar as chaos knows no borders and respects no boundaries. What we saw in Berlin, I believe, is being associated with ISIS. What we saw in Turkey is not really associated with ISIS, but it both come from Syria. And what we see is if you let the violence rage, if you let people's lives be consumed and wasted, that anger spills out and causes violent acts throughout the world.
France has had several horrible attacks, especially the one in Nice earlier this year, and now again, like we mentioned, the Berlin attacks. Do you think Europe is prepared for all of these sort of isolated incidents?
I think they're growing prepared. I think for a long time they thought it was a problem that wasn't going to come to their shores. It was a problem for the Middle East. It was a problem for America. Even when you saw attacks in 2005, 2007, they didn't really think it was going to be a large-term problem. Now with the influx of refugees and with Europe taking a role in the ISIS conflict, they're going to have to really put in place a lot of the same measures that the U.S. put in place after 9/11 in terms of homeland security and intelligence.
How big of a problem do you think the refugee crisis has been for them?
It's a double-edged sword because on the one hand, the more it is a problem and we don't know who has come in fully, but the more they tamp down on the refugees, the more they isolate them, the more they alienate them, the more alienation they're going to build within their own societies, and the more people are going to rise up against them. So it's a very hard balance to strike between making sure they're secure and screening their populations, but not oppressing and alienating them either.
Yeah, tough situation for sure. Blaise Misztal, the director of the National Security Program at the Bipartisan Policy Center. Thanks for being with us.
Good to be with you, Wyatt.